So, what is fear really? To understand fear, we have to look back at how our consciousness got split up in the first place. Before the universe was born, there was just this massive, limitless sea of perfect light in a state of absolute unity, this total wholeness and bliss. But it didn't know any objects because there was no line separating self from not self. Then, unbelievably, a restlessness stirred within that infinite nothingness. The source wanted to experience itself. To actually look at its own face, it played a game of make-believe deception, condensing its consciousness down into darkness and matter so it could glimpse its own reflection. So, as that consciousness condensed into the material world, living forms continuously evolved to survive the harsh, automatic patterns of matter. Over eons, those exact patterns of survival worked their way down the line, straight to us humans. This means that the autonomous fear you feel was actually meant to protect you. It's a biological survival manual wired into your nervous system, signaling your body that it's time to either run or fight. But here's the catch. When humans are relaxed, we are able to enter states of deep creativity, joy, and peace that are otherwise almost impossible to touch when we're gripped by fear. When the internal waters are still, everything clears up. This is why individuals who experience intense traumas tend to close themselves off and succumb to self-destructive behaviors if that trauma isn't addressed. The mind creates these permanent, self-sustaining disturbances, like emotional traps in the subconscious that hijack who we are. Think about how humans experience consciousness through all these different shifting states. Take the deep expansion we go through during REM sleep. When we dream, we slip away into a more expanded, creative state. It's the exact reason why people throughout history have had massive epiphanies and breakthroughs in their sleep. It's why rest is so critical. But then, as we wake up, our consciousness contracts. It gets pulled deeper and deeper into the body, and soon after, the mind starts to believe it is the body, completely forgetting where it came from. So, fear is ultimately the deepest contraction consciousness can go through. It is consciousness at its absolute densest. Trapped here, the mind only seeks basic survival, or worse, the imagination turns inward, tormenting the individual with unresolved dualities and mental traps. Fear is the guardian at the threshold that keeps you stuck in repeating loops. When you boil it down, fear is the direct result of attachment. Attachment to outcomes, to people, to comfort, and to roles. And this happens entirely because we forget that we are the eternal observer, the immortal spark of light untouched by this material world. When we forget our divine nature, fear becomes the anchor into karmic loops that play themselves out day after day, recycling the same old patterns. So, fear is failure because it actively keeps you from embodying your highest self. Oftentimes, our inaction towards our higher potential, our refusal to step into our true purpose, is stopped dead in its tracks by our fear. We get paralyzed by the worry that we aren't good enough, or that we'll fail and embarrass ourselves. But here is a deep secret. Every single timeline exists right now in the present moment. Because everything is anchored in the now, you have an almost godly, divine ability to alter timelines with your actions in this exact moment. Yet, it's fear that keeps you etched into a specific, predictable groove. It's fear that drives you to go to a job you absolutely hate, while you leave that product or project you were so passionate about sitting on a shelf unfinished. Unfortunately, some people continue these exact patterns until the day they pass away. Let's look at a deep secret hidden within old mystery traditions. When the universe manifested, dark forces spun cocoons of matter around the sparks of divine light, creating hidden shells to obscure your true radiance. They want you to believe in the illusion of your limitations. So, to dissolve these fear-driven patterns, we have to intentionally draw our hidden fears to the surface, See them for what they are from the place of the observer and banish them. And the ultimate tools to do this? Empathy and love. Love expands what fear contracts. When you embrace your instinctive nature with deep empathy, the chaotic waves in your subconscious smooth out, and the broken pieces of your consciousness are reassembled back into a perfect reflection of the divine. Programming the divine spark. And that brings us to the sacred process of Yoga Nidra. Yoga Nidra is the art of falling asleep while staying completely awake. By systematically scanning the body, you keep your awareness sharp right at the borderland of the subconscious mind. This method directly pulls you into a state of consciousness where the critical guardrails of the ego are bypassed, meaning you can truly program new beliefs into the deepest levels of your being. Think about how often we set powerful intentions, only to instantly forget them the very next day because we fall right back into the same old conditioned habits. Yoga Nidra slips past the restless mind, planting your intentions like seeds deep within the soul. So a full Yoga Nidra session is now available on my Patreon for members. Your support as a member directly helps the channel grow, so I can create more of these deep, transformative tools for you. Thank you, I love you, and remember to keep shining on.